Good day, all, and welcome to another edition of Local Legislator Live at 11. I'm your host, Charles Gates, and we are a component of locallegislator.net, where our mission is to be the premier source of local election information in the United States and an advocate for the sustainability of local businesses nationwide. We've got an honor and treat for you this morning. We have Portsmouth City Council candidate, Mr. Mark Hugel, with us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Hugel. How are you, sir?
Hi, Charles. Thanks for hosting and thanks for this opportunity.
Sure. We do call these raw interviews, so we're going to start right off with the first question for you, sir, and that is, tell us about Mark Hugel. What is your education and occupation, and why are you running for Portsmouth City Council?
Okay, thanks for the question, Charles. So I am Mark Hugel, Portsmouth City Council candidate, and I am a 1977 graduate of the United States Naval Academy. After earning my Bachelor of Science in Systems Engineering, I was interviewed by Admiral Rickover and went into the nuclear Navy. I served in 3 nuclear-powered ships during my 32 years on active duty. And along the way, I attended graduate school at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where I earned 2 Masters of Science in Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, and Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering. And after my graduate school, I moved into the shipyard business and spent the last major part of my Navy active duty time working in shipyards and ultimately culminating in command of Norfolk Naval Shipyard here in Portsmouth back in 2000 to 2003. I was selected to be an admiral out of that job and spent my last 7 or 8 years on active duty, serving in the Pentagon and in the Washington Navy Yard. And I retired from the Navy in 2009 as a 2-star admiral. And we moved back here to Portsmouth. And we had a choice where we could move after we retired from the Navy. And we enjoyed our time here in Hampton Roads. We've been homeowners in Portsmouth since 1986. We lived here, moved away, lived here, moved away. The Navy kept bringing us back to this area with 3 separate tours at Norfolk Naval Shipyard, including command. And so we enjoyed Hampton Roads, and we really came to love Portsmouth. And so when we retired in 2009, we moved back to this area. I took a job with a defense IT contractor, CACI International. I still work with them. So I've had not only time on active duty and leadership opportunities on active duty, but I've also had time and leadership opportunities on the industry side of the equation. And so I think that has helped me get a pretty good understanding of how business works. And so this past spring, I decided to get petitions signed and get my name added to the ballot for City Council. You mentioned in your intro that this is all about local, and I happen to believe that local is where the most important impact can be made. And so my personal ambition is to serve locally. I want to help the city of Portsmouth. The city of Portsmouth is a great place to live. It's talked down and sometimes run down by other folks in other communities here in Hampton Roads. And certainly Portsmouth has made the news recently and not in necessarily a positive way. But I see Portsmouth as a great place to live and has awesome potential. And so I have the time available to give back, and now is the time in my life when it's time to give back. And I think because I've been leading in positions of leadership going all the way back to the United States Naval Academy, I've learned to lead. I've learned situational leadership. I try to be a servant leader. And so this is, I think, an opportunity for me to give back to the community and to give back locally, where I think I have an opportunity to make the most impact to help Portsmouth.
Okay, now I mentioned local, you mentioned local. We really wanted to put a focus on local because if you look at it this way, if you after a long day's work, you come home and there's a sinkhole in front of your house the size of what can fit a bus in. You're not calling the White House. You're not calling
Right.
the governor's mansion. You're calling your locally elected officials. Hey, fix this thing. We've got a problem. So it behooves us to know more about our local issues and people that are going to be serving these capacities. And this is why we do what we do. Now, Mr. Hugel, what is your full name on the upcoming ballot?
Yeah, so I'm actually the 10th and final city council candidate on the ballot. So go all the way to the bottom of the ballot and you'll find Mark Hugel for Portsmouth City Council, number 10, 10 of 10.
That's a good way to remember it. Now, we understand that city council candidates are not required to disclose any political party affiliation. Now, do you associate with any parties?
No, actually, because I've been in the military most of my career, I've been apolitical, if you will, and so I've remained an independent, and I continue to be registered as an independent even today.
Okay. Now, before I forget, we do want to commend you for your 2 stars and thank you for your service, by the way. And how long
Thank you.
have you lived in Portsmouth, and have you held any previous public positions?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we first bought a home here, actually our first home in 1986 in the Churchland section of Portsmouth. And so we've been homeowners continuously in Portsmouth since 1986. We lived here and moved away several times and moved back here when I retired in 2009. And as I mentioned, we had a choice. We could have lived anywhere that work was available, but I looked for work here locally, and we moved back here in 2009. We currently live in the Sterling Point section of Portsmouth, and we love Portsmouth. We're all about Portsmouth.
Okay. Now, to our viewers out there, if you like this interview and would like to see more like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, join us on Twitter and Instagram, and send us a message or a comment to let us know who or what you would like to hear from next. We will do our best to get that person or that organization on here for you. Now, Mr. Hugel, what has been your community involvement, and how has that helped you prepare for this moment?
Going back to my time on active duty, of course, the shipyard commander has a responsibility to represent the shipyard and the Navy in the local community. And so during that time, that 3 years in shipyard command, I was very engaged with the leadership, primarily in the city of Portsmouth, and really got to know Portsmouth pretty well during that time. A lot of folks around Portsmouth, and to be honest, that was one of the attractions for moving back here. Since coming back to this area, I joined the board of directors of the Up Center. The Up Center is a local social services and family support organization, a nonprofit here in Hampton Roads, and they serve all the Hampton Roads cities, including a location in Portsmouth. Additionally, a little more than a year ago, I was asked by the mayor and Councilman Glover if I would step into a Portsmouth opening on the Tidewater Community College Board of Directors. To be honest, I jumped at that opportunity because going back to my time at the shipyard and Tidewater Community College have had a long-standing collaboration to help the shipyard develop their apprentices. The Tidewater Community College provides the academic portion, the book learning portion of the apprenticeship, and of course the shipyard provides the on-the-job training portion. Workforce development is an interest of mine. You could call it a passion of mine, and so the opportunity to work with the Tidewater Community College Board of Directors has afforded me a chance to provide the Portsmouth voice into that board. Additionally, we're active in our church, and we've participated in building a Habitat for Humanity home. And we have served meals here locally at the Oasis Social Ministry. So in our spare time, we have already looked for opportunities to give back.
Okay. Now, two more questions for you. First one is, if elected, what are your 4 main goals, your 4 top goals?
Yeah, so I appreciate the ask for 4, Charles. I'm going to give you 3, and I'll tell you why. So one of the things I learned in Navy leadership is if you try to get too many things going at the same time, you don't really get anything done. And so I've been a leader by 3s. So I try to pick 3 important priorities and work on those until progress is made and things are getting done, and it's time then to turn attention from number 1, 2, or 3 and choose number 4 to go work on and number 5 to go work on as you get things done. And so if you visit my website, www.markhugel.com, you'll see that I have 3 priorities. The first priority is jobs. So again, coming back to the discussion about impacting the local community, I personally think the biggest potential impact that we have an opportunity to make as leaders of Portsmouth is to help the people of Portsmouth land the good jobs that are available here. And I'll give you an example, because the shipyard is something that I know very well. The shipyard employment today is over 10,000 people. 20 years ago, when I was the shipyard commander, the employment was about 7,500 people. So the shipyard has grown about more than 2,500 people in the past 20 years. And those jobs, although some of those jobs are blue collar jobs, they're all really good jobs. They're good paying jobs. They have good benefits. They have job security because the workers at the Navy Yard are civil servants. And there's plenty of Navy repair work that's slated to continue coming to the Norfolk Naval Shipyard for the long into the future. So great jobs, great opportunities. But you might be surprised to know that the current demographic at Norfolk Naval Shipyard is only 17% of the workforce lives in Portsmouth. Okay, the shipyard is in Portsmouth, and only 17% of those 10,000 people live here. And again, I saw it when I was in command, and I've watched it ever since. And I think we're just not doing a good enough job of preparing our citizens to go in and win those jobs. And some of it is public education, which is my priority number 2. So the things are kind of tied together. I want to help our folks win the good jobs. And one of the ways to help them win the good jobs is to do workforce development through Tidewater Community College or whatever. But I want to help our high school kids win good jobs straight out of high school, because not every high school student necessarily wants, needs, or can afford to go directly to college. And to be honest, with the good jobs available here, not only at the shipyard, not only in shipbuilding and in ship repair, but we have a big Navy hospital, and so the health professions. We have a huge tourism industry. Portsmouth is installing 5G broadband, and so the IT industry, and I work in the IT industry, and great jobs there. And unfortunately, we're having to go out of town to recruit people because there aren't enough trained people in the labor pool in Portsmouth, really in all of Hampton Roads, to satisfy the demand signal for IT professionals. So all of those jobs are good jobs, and all of those jobs require the right kind of preparation. Now, there's a preparation that needs to start when our children are in elementary school and in middle school. And so the STEM program, the science keenly interested and have some passion for, In fact, I'm the national president of the American Society of Naval Engineers, and one of our thrusts as a Society of Naval Engineers is to invest in STEM in our students to help prepare them for good paying jobs, both headed off to college, but not headed off to college and going right straight into the workforce. Here locally, a good friend of mine, Admiral Bill Hayden, initiated a project called Star-Based Victory, which is a STEM program, after-school program, that's helping Portsmouth students hone their STEM skills in anticipation and preparation for some of them to go to college, some of them to stay here and go into the jobs that require that STEM kind of preparation. Beyond that, at the high school level, our students need to be exposed to more than just college preparation curricula. The kids that want to go to college, STEM is a good prep to help them through kind of the freshman math class, if you will. But if our kids choose not to go to college, then that sort of education, whether it's STEM or at the high school level, the career and technical education opportunities that are available in our public schools can if they're kind of correctly focused on the needs of the community, can help our kids prepare and walk across the stage and pick up their high school diploma and immediately go get one of those great jobs with great benefits here locally. I tell folks, again, going back to my shipyard background, we bring folks directly into the shipyard from high school, give them a really good job, blue collar or white collar job, and then they have the opportunity to build their nest egg and not incur student loan debt, and the command will pay them to go to college after they have established themselves in a good paying job there in the shipyard. Now, lots of other industries, my IT company does exactly the same thing. We'll invest in our employees and send them to college after they've learned a skill and gotten to work, and so jobs, public education linked together are priority 1 and priority 2, and it's really 1 and 1A, if you will, because they're so closely linked. And if we can get Portsmouth people to work, there's some selfish reasons to want to help Portsmouth people get to work. The selfish reasons being, hey, look, the city is already running one of the highest tax rates for any community here in Hampton Roads. And so I get asked questions quite a bit since I've been on the campaign trail. How are you going to raise revenue to do all the things that need to be done around Portsmouth? And my answer is not by raising tax rates, but by increasing the tax base. If we have more people working, then those people can afford to buy homes, kind of live the American dream, put food on the table, get a good education for their kids. But they also become, Portsmouth taxpayers, and that helps us increase the tax base and generate additional revenue for Portsmouth to invest in the things that Portsmouth needs to invest in. One of those things is public safety, and that's priority number 3. So it's important. I mentioned before we went on air that my wife and I suffered a severe house fire a couple of years ago here in Portsmouth. That Sunday when our house was burning, 3/4 of the on-duty Portsmouth Fire Department was here at our house. And so we have a special connection with the firefighters here in Portsmouth because they took just really great care of us that day when tragedy struck. And so we need to make sure that we have the right number of firefighters, the right number of pieces of fire equipment, and there are national standards for those things. that Portsmouth has been falling short of until just the last couple of years, when the city council made it a priority to begin investing in the right numbers of public service people. So we're on the right track with firefighters and EMTs and dispatchers, and we still have some work to do with the Portsmouth Police Department. The compensation and the staffing levels in public safety need to be correct to national standards, but more importantly, they need to be comparable to the cities, the communities that make up Hampton Roads. Because if you're interested in being a policeman or a firefighter, that's a passion of yours, but the fact of the matter is you got to put food on the table. And so if the neighboring cities are paying $10,000 more a year for a policeman or a firefighter than this city, then the city isn't going to compete as well for talent and staffing in our public safety areas. Progress has been made and more progress is needed. And so that's my third priority, because at the end of the day, if we can have jobs and we can have homes and we can have good schools, but if we can't feel safe to walk out our door, or if we can't get insurance on our homes that we just bought because the public safety staff is understaffed and response times are impacted, then we're not providing for that foundational community requirement that the city owes to the people who live here. So there's my three priorities. I'd give you number 4, but then I'd be cheating because I'd be breaking my rule of 3s.
Understood. And our last question for you this morning, sir, is how can we find out more about you and your campaign?
Yeah, so again, I appreciate the opportunity to have this discussion with you. As I mentioned, I have a campaign website, www.markhugel.com, markhugel.com. You can read about my background, my priorities. A lot of the things that we've talked about today are available on the website. If you're on Facebook, I have a Facebook page, a campaign page. So search Elect Mark Hugel and you'll find my Facebook campaign page. Like that page and follow me, and we'll be putting more social media content up in the next couple of weeks as we enter the home stretch now before Election Day.
Okay, well, thank you so much, sir, for spending some time with us. And to our viewers out there, I hope you enjoyed this interview. This is city council candidate for the city of Portsmouth, Mr. Mark Hugel. He will be on the ballot in November. Our goal is to keep you educated and keep you informed. And remember to follow our social media platforms. Again, this is Local Legislator Live at 11. Our website is locallegislator.net, where you can get your local election information as well as other tips and tricks. And guys, before we sign off, again, thank you, Mr. Hugel, for being here. And remember,
my pleasure.
Thank you, sir, so much. And remember, we're not global, we're local. Local Legislator Live at 11. I am your host, Charles Gates, signing off until next time. Take care.